Is this working, I wonder? Lenny, good morning, man. Can you hear me on this thing? I'm a bit confused by the whole microphone needing charging when it's plugged into the phone. I'm a bit puzzled by that. Doesn't that? Okay. But it's flashing red, so I don't know if it's gonna die on us. Whatevs. It is what it is. Now let's get started, eh? What's going on, guys? What's happening? I can hear you. Beautiful. All right, just let me know if it cuts out and it dies, and then I'll just unplug the microphone and we'll go from there, I suppose. All right, let's get warmed up. Alrighty. Do I still play Skyrim? I downloaded that new version of Skyrim, which is that Oblivion remastered, and I haven't really been playing that either. So I've just been messing around on 2K, making players and like messing around with that. Yeah, but yeah, no Skyrim at the moment. Chris, how you going, man? Nas, Prodnus, Lenny, everyone's here. Trying to get some vitamin D out here in the sun before we get into the bench. Whew. This is kind of what I usually do. That's why I've never shown you guys the warm-ups, because I come out here and I do my little warm-ups in the sun before I get in there. Yeah, Jim, nice to see you as well, man. Yeah, it's hard to go at every point in the 24-hour cycle, obviously, because of time differences, but sometimes I go like my time, 6 p.m. Sometimes, like right now, it's about 12:30 p.m. Other times I've done at 10 a.m. It just depends on the shift work and whatever's going on. I've got a day off work today, so this is very unusual time. This is kind of like smack bang where I never do it. So it just depends on everything. Oh yeah, absolutely. Sun in the winter is like, it's beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's probably one of the reasons why people get sick during winter. It's not so much because it's cold, but because no one gets any sunlight, onto their skin. Obviously for reasons, because it's cold. Nobody wants to walk around naked. 6 a.m. now in Finland. Nice. Nice. I don't know where everyone else is from. The States, I'm assuming, because the States is now, well, on the West Coast, I think. What is it? 10 o'clock at night? 9 o'clock at night or something like that? Canada, there you go. America, there you go. Elite, good night, good night. 11:20 p.m. on the East Coast, there you go. Washington State is 820. There you go. It's interesting. I remember I was catching up with one of the fellas from, oh God, where's he from? Not Texas. Where was he from? I can't remember now which state he's from. Pete Rubish, when we were doing that podcast a few years ago now, we were trying to work out a time where we were going to catch up, and it was just like the worst possible timing. So his 6 a.m. was my like 10 p.m. And it was just like two extremes trying to like work out. It ended up being that what did I do? I did a night, like a 9 at 10 p.m. and he woke up like at 6 a.m. to make it happen. It was just complete opposites. All right, let's do another one. You know, it's nice to do these movements sometimes where it's like you just do the movement without any bracing or any dying under the weight. You can kind of mindlessly do some of these exercises, these bodybuilding exercises, I suppose. Grab a leaf. Green screen. Oh, no green screen here, man. I wouldn't even know how to set that up. Is it cold? Yeah, I guess it is for us, I suppose. But, you know, if I told you some of the figures that we get down to, you'd be laughing at us. But for me, the way I think about it, it's more so the contrast, right? In summer, it gets like 40, 45 years, you know. Not all the time, obviously, but it gets up to 40 degrees Celsius. And then it gets down to, whatever, 2, 3 degrees, something like that in the mornings. So that's like a 40-degree difference. But obviously in Canada, it gets down to like minus 20, minus 30, 40. I've heard all sorts of crazy stuff. So obviously, you know, not as cold as over there. But for us, it gets cold. And so that's why I rug up like this. Kumquat tree. I don't know what it's called. They're like little, can you see this? Like little mandarins. We had a Polish plumber come out here once, and he was like, yeah, we have this tree in Poland, and we make grappa, I think he said, grappa, which is kind of like a rakia, you know, from where I'm from, which is kind of like this spirit thing that people drink. Nine out of 10 doctors recommend a smooth and refreshing pack of Marlboro Reds every day. Yeah, I bet they do. Alrighty. I remember when I was buying these dumbbells, these 5 kilo dumbbells from the store, one of the local shops here. I was picking them up, and he was like, "No, I bought these somewhere else." I was getting the 10s. And he was like, "You know, what do you want to do with the 10s? You know, it's kind of light." I'm like, "Oh, you know, some shoulder work." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, of course. Like, you know, you warm up with 10s on lateral raises. Like, that's kind of where it starts." And I thought, "Yeah, yep, sure. 10s? Dude, like, I've been using these 5s, and I have messed around with 10s. Dude, the 10s are way too heavy, man. I have to, like, heave them up. Absolutely no point of doing that. Completely ruins the muscle contraction, completely ruins the movement." But he was saying that, you know, 10s and you go 15s and 20s. I'm looking at the guy. He doesn't look like a big, massive bodybuilder. He's just a normal looking dude. And I thought, you warm up with 10s? Love to see how you do those. You know, later on I'm driving back in the car thinking, shit, he warms up with 10s? So that means he goes, what, like 15s, 20s? I guess, you know, when we talk about some of these movements and some of these things that we do, there's so much variation in how we apply these things. It's so much. Like, you could pick up a program and go, "Oh yeah, you know, these are the weights, these are the movements, cool, no worries," and off you go. But the way you do them can completely change the load that you use, you know, just completely different. That's one of the things that kind of murkies the water. Oh, dude, you're a machine. A YouTube channel. Boys, if you don't know who this fella is on the YouTube channel, click on his link and check out how strong he is. Absolute monster. I don't think you make any kind of like talking videos much, not that I've seen. But he is an absolute unit, and he's, what are you benching now? Definitely over 200, pushing 220 or something like that. Unbelievable. Good to see you, by the way. Good to see you, dude. Archer press. Yeah, I don't think I've messed around with archer press, but I haven't really done an archer press like properly, like loaded it, like I really meant it. No, I haven't tried that, Mike. The chest supported incline. No. I usually do, like I said, I usually do these out here in the sun. And that's kind of where I got the idea to sit down and just chill, so I can spend kind of quality time out here in the sun before I go into the into the dungeon, which is the garage, where there's no light at all. Yeah, 5 kilos, dude. Absolutely plenty. I don't know. I've seen videos of guys talking about, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day and stuff, like never going above certain weights for bicep curls and whatnot. And, you know, obviously we know what he was, you know, built like. But then you have other people who are just there heaving. It's such a confusing thing to you know, if you were to just start out now with lifting weights, you are like, I have no idea where you would turn. There's so much information, so many different opinions. At least when I started kind of looking into this stuff, it was, I mean, YouTube was around and stuff, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't this crazy. I feel like everyone that goes to the gym now has a channel, has an opinion, and which is fantastic. It's great. You know, everyone should be sharing, but how do you filter all this stuff to find things that matter to you? Yeah, Rippertoes, that's where I started. I bought the book Starting Strength, and I bought the other one called Practical Programming, I think. Was that by him as well? Those two books are like the first texts that I read. They were like amazing for beginners. Like, so if you were to start out, I reckon start off with that, and they'll get you on the right path, I think. I don't know if that's 3 or 4. Djuric, 280 times 1, 250 for 3, 230 for 2, sets of 5. That is immense amount of weight, man. I don't even know how that would feel on the back. Oh yeah, Brendan Campbell and George Lehman. Although Brendan Campbell still makes videos, man. He still makes videos. Sometimes they pop up on my feed and I watch his stuff. Yeah, I remember watching him, and then obviously, you know, polar opposite George Lehman, you know, massive guy on the juice. Interesting ideas. The biggest one being the PROM program, progressive range of motion. I'll never forget that. He was probably one of the first guys that I saw doing like a set of 50 RDLs. And I remember the shake. He used to shake like this. Like the hamstrings would just start shaking. He'd be there yelling in the gym. People would turn around. Who is this animal? Yeah, definitely. Um, 162 by 8, failed the 9th after hitting support on the 7th, but trying a 5-day. Still hit 180, 196 single 5 times per week. Whoa, okay. Yeah, I knew you were around 200, man. I knew you were getting like, you know, I don't. What's your absolute max? It's probably more than 2, isn't it? Yeah. I remember those videos that he was talking about the hook grip. You're Ben Rice now. Oh man, that's another name. I remember being big. I don't know if he still makes stuff or he's just dropped off of my algorithm, but yeah, that's another fella that was huge. I've never heard about that. 3 or 11 hours after waking. Two or two pause pre-injury. Yeah, you had a nasty injury, didn't you, man? What an accident. Shit happens, I suppose. It could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? You know? Just goes to show you, man. In a split second, things can change. Oh, right, that must be full. Oh, man. Oh, wow. 700 once per week. Wow. That's a strong boy. I don't know how much he weighs now. He's not very tall, is he? That's very impressive. I wonder why he went over to Twitch as well. Yeah. Oh, in Brazil. Cold day. Yeah, you guys are on the same line on the globe as Australia, aren't you? Or maybe you guys are higher. You're probably like Sydney height or something. If I'm not getting my coordinates all wrong. Yeah, 5'10", 220. Yeah, that's a lot of weight, man. So he's under 100 kilos and he's doing 3 times body weight, or over 3 times body weight deadlifts. Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's get into the squat rack. Alrighty. Now let me fix this thing up. Whew, 5 sets of these. Yeah, where the magic happens. Laz, religiously as it helped me a lot through tough times. Happy to see you still killing it. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for stopping by, man. The belt for squats, in particular high rep squats, if you decrease the load on core, you can put those points into high rep deadlifts. Yeah, I don't know. I have thought about using the belt for high reps, but like without trying it, I'm just thinking to myself, it probably doesn't help all that much, right? Because it's probably gonna make it harder to breathe. You know, it probably makes the whole breathing process tougher because you're fighting this external force that's trying to prevent you from expanding. So I don't know how that will help the high reps, since oxygen starvation is a real thing when you're doing it. I don't know if you know, that would help, but I could be wrong. All right, now it's releasing a little bit. What blood does. All right, let's throw a plate on. A nice little plate for good measure. There you go. They hated the belt. Maybe this is why my reaction also is to hate the belt, because I come from a sport that had me breathing freely. I guess you could get used to it. Of course you could. Ego lift. Maybe I'm not thinking about Ben Rice. The right Ben Rice. I thought Ben Rice was on gear. Who am I thinking of? Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. You saw for everyone, they have beautiful upright ass to grass high bar squats, so it makes sense how they tend to not like the feeling of a belt. Yeah. If high rep Hatfield squats would be a nice substitution for front squats, it might help your body adapt to keeping upright while having the weight on your back. You know, I tried the Hatfield squats and I remember having those same ideas. But I found like it didn't translate much. Like I remember I pushed them a fair bit for a few weeks. And when I went back to the normal squats, I felt hell unbalanced, like worse than before. Because I had like all this, you know, newfound confidence with weight on my back with the Hatfields. But the moment I started doing them free, I was like, okay, damn, I'm alone here and free and very vulnerable to falling backwards. It's weird, man, how like my whole body wants to push back, you know, and in order for me to counter that, I need to lean forward to kind of have that directly against gravity directional force, you know. I don't know, man. Over the years, I've tried so many different ideas to try and work out why do I feel like I want to push backwards, not upwards. I don't know. I always have this feeling that I'm using half of my strength on squat because I can't push in the direction that the gravity is coming at me from. Oh, Glenn Rice. Oh, no. No, no. Yeah, Glenn Rice was a monster. But there's a guy, short guy, who was into powerlifting, went into bodybuilding, got absolutely huge, was really open about the steroid use. And who was that guy? I can't think of it. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else. Goku or Vegeta. Oh man, you're taking me back. The last time I watched Dragon Ball Z, actually the last day I watched Dragon Ball Z, I remember, was 9/11 back in the day when it all happened. I remember waking up to go to primary school, like year 7, whatever it was back then, year 6. I remember waking up, turning the TV on to watch my freaking Dragon Ball Z in the morning. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? Like, where's the cartoon? Like, what is this movie playing? Why is there a movie playing in the morning? What the hell is going on? Flick onto another channel, all the same. I'm like, this is really weird. Call mum in, she comes in, she's like, no, that's not a movie, that's news. And then the shock hit us. I'll never forget it. Seeing those freaking planes flying into that building. What a surreal moment. It's one of those moments in history that everyone remembers where they were when they found out about 9/11. But yeah, I remember around that time I kind of stopped watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm sure they would have started playing Dragon Ball Z, you know, days after, but I feel like that was the last time I watched it. Yeah. Maybe I'm messed up. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it's been so long. I don't even know what the story was. Like Goku, Vegeta. Vegeta was that green dude that can grow limbs back. Am I getting that right? Cheese TV. Yeah. Oh man, you're taking me back to way, way, way. All right. Now let's get the working sets loaded. Couple of 20s. You can hear it. Yeah, Cheese TV. Oh shit, that takes us back, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Yeah. You never see me do overhead press anymore? Yeah. The reason is, I don't know how valuable it is. I spoke about this a few days ago. Somebody else asked me. There's a lot of people asking me about overhead press all the time. which is interesting because I remember being in that frame of mind as well back in the day, thinking this is better than any other upper body exercise, overhead press, overhead press. Pavel Tsatsouline got me into it hardcore. And I went hard at it. I tried everything. I tried high volume, high frequency, high intensity, low volume. Like I tried bloody everything. Singles, doubles, triples, 10s, 20s, all sorts of stuff. And I never really got anywhere with it, to be honest with you. Go back to bench. The bench has regressed. Overhead press is like impossible to progress. And I just found my wheels. I felt like I was dying under the bar for absolutely zero results. And I remember at the time thinking to myself, okay, so all this talk about people saying overhead press is superior to bench press, it will carry over to bench press, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm an alien. Maybe it doesn't work for me. Let me try the opposite. I tried the opposite. This was around the time where I did my ankles in. And the opposite worked. The opposite worked, man. I did all my efforts in the bench. Overhead press went up, bench press went up, everything went up. So I don't know, maybe that's just me, but in my opinion, I think the bench press is more superior. Whoever thought that the overhead press hits the upper back more, I feel is wrong. The upper back is humongous in the bench press. Even more so recently that I've kind of worked that out. It is absolutely huge. The bench press hits your mid back, lower back, upper back, obviously chest and arms. He hits your freaking quads, he hits everything. If you do bench press properly, and I've done it even not properly years, and I still found that the bench press was not as good. Bench press was better than overhead press. Overhead press wasn't as good. And now with this newfound leg drive and positioning, it is, in my opinion, light years ahead of overhead press. Kyle, man, what's going on? What's going on? Ivan, as someone who has 566 total in powerlifting and is somewhat successful in powerlifting in Southern California, why don't you ever compete when I guarantee you have the numbers to be great? That's a good question, and a question that I get quite often. The basic answer is I don't see the point. And not to discredit anybody that competes, absolutely, if that's your thing, do it, have fun with it. But for me, it's like, I know what the competition is doing. I know what the records are. I can easily access it. It's not like basketball. It's not like soccer. It's not like tennis where there's always a chance. If you are lifting 100 kilos more than me in the deadlift, there is nothing I can do on the day to be stronger than you. Nothing. So the results are kind of like already known to me. For me to go beat the local fellas out here who have been training a couple of years in competitions, I get nothing out of that. If I was really, really elite and I was fighting for proper numbers, pushing records, all that stuff, world records, I'd be interested. But because I'm not elite, I'm not this incredibly strong person, I just stay in my own little zone and I just, keep going until maybe one day I'll be that. Probably not, but the act of losing a whole day at a competition and all that and the stage of life that I'm in, that's a whole day for me, and I'd rather spend it many different ways. I'm probably wrong on that when I say that. I'm sure my family, my kids and my partner would enjoy going to the competition. It would be a nice day out, whatever, but I just don't see it. And the other portion to that is as well, for many years, I felt like powerlifting is unfair because it's not standardized. I squat ATG, most people are going to squat to parallel, and the local meets are probably going to be judged poorer than, on the big competitions. The bench press, for many years, I thought it was a joke as well because people are arching like crazy, moving the bar this much, and they call that a bench press. I think that's funny as a sport. There's already two lifts there that I kind of disagree with. And on the third lift, the deadlift, there's people doing sumo and I'm doing conventional. So I'm competing in a competition that I'm doing a different sport. I'm doing ATG squat. I'm doing a bench press that has big range of motion, and I'm doing a conventional deadlift where some people might be going 2 parallel with a huge arch on the bench and sumo deadlift. What am I doing there? Like, what am I doing there? And all these years I've asked myself that, and I don't really know what the hell I'm going to go do there. What am I doing to get beat by a guy? And I have no problems with getting beat by a better man. And I know there's many out there. I'm not saying that I'm stronger than anyone. I would love to go over there and get my ass handed to me by somebody that is doing exactly what I'm doing, but just better. My head off goes to you, and that's it. But even that is like, whatever. I know he's stronger than me. But the thought of me going over there thinking that I'm stronger and getting beat by some guy who's not stronger than me, but he's outmaneuvering me, that to me just, I don't like that. I don't want to say the C word, the cheating word, but it's a different sport. And to me, that's why powerlifting has always kind of lacked in my mind to be like this legitimate thing, because there's no standardization. Never really occurred to me that it was a real sport, because like, what the hell is going on? Why is everyone doing everything different? And recent changes with the blah, 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 people are still kind of finding a way to outmaneuver, out physics, all of this stuff. And so for me, like, I love the training, but the competing is just whatever. I saw a guy recently at work. He was a patient, big guy, on the juice, all that stuff. And he tells me that he's got a 300 kilo bench press, 400 squat, 400 deadlift. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, we're just chatting, you know, it's just a simple old chat, nothing crazy. Obviously the man is a monster. He weighs about 150, 60 kilos. He's a huge human being. But in my mind, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? Straight away, like, my mind is like, oh yeah, that's 400 ATG. And then I was like, no, well, that's not 400 ATG, I know it. Right? Straight away, I'm like, I know it's not 400 ATG, because if it was 400 ATG, holy shit, like, you know, Lasha's freaking squatting, not that. So straight away, somebody tells you, you know, the stats of the sport. Like, for instance, you know, you meet Michael Jordan, he says to you, I've got 6 rings. Straight away, you know, 6 rings. Even though it's different areas and whatever, blah, 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 but he means something. When somebody says to you 400 kilo squat, you don't really know what he's doing. He might be the strongest man in the world. No one's ever found him yet. He hasn't been discovered. Or he might be doing 400 kilos low bar, maybe even French low bar, to questionable parallel depth and back up. Now, still, I want to reiterate, this man is 3-4 times stronger than me easily. But the act of me not knowing what that even looks like, I can't even picture it, is interesting to me. Also, deadlift. Okay, 400. He can say sumo or conventional. I didn't really get into that. That wasn't kind of the point of the conversation. But it could be sumo, super wide, with a really flexible bar, and that's 400. See what I mean? Like, I don't want to split hairs, but like the sport in general is fantastic and I absolutely love it. I spend every day doing it. But I don't really know, you know, like, basically it's like this. I don't know where I fit. I don't fit anywhere. There is no competition where you squat ATG, you bench press with a flat back or somewhat flat back. I mean, I'm not flat, but like, you know, somewhat flat back. It's not freaking bridge-like. You know, flat back and conventional pull. That doesn't exist. And so where do I go? Where do I go? I don't go anywhere. I stay in my garage for another 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, as long as I can keep going, and that's it. Keep to myself, and that's it. Olympic weightlifting, though, is by far a better sport. By far a better sport, because to get the bar from this position up above your head, basically you can basically do whatever you want, really. Although there's some rules about, you know, locking out and whatever. But in generally speaking, like, there's a standardized process there. And that to me is like, cool, no worries. That's really cool. The reason why I'm not doing Olympic weightlifting is, well, that shit is so technical. And I feel like it's more technical than it is about strength. You know, there's technicians out there who are amazing at the sport. You know, for me, I want to train and train, you know, like feel like my muscles are working, which is where powerlifting is great, because when I squat, I feel my muscles. When I bench, I feel my muscles. With a technical sport like Olympic weightlifting, it is so much about body positions and cues and where the bar path is and timing, that it's more so about all of those things than it is about how strong your lower back is. Because there are many people out there with absolute bulletproof lower backs that can't clean anything. That's kind of that long-winded thing. Yeah. Thank you, Rebel. Yeah, well, maybe I'm stronger than I think, but I don't know. I kind of know what the records are in Australia, and I'm way off. All right, let me try and get 23 with this. Oh man, that was a long chat. Oh man. That's set number one. Hopefully I don't start forgetting the sets. Ego lift, so true. And that's the issue. No chance of winning in the gap. It's too great, unlike the sports like b-ball. That's the random chance of beating a much better team. Yeah, that's basically it. YouTube channel. I think you are elite for your variables. Full raw, mid-30s. Shift worker kids, you do well in a fully tested fed, in my opinion. Thanks, man. I mean, yeah, maybe. I still think, like, you know, with the really proper gifted guys, I wouldn't stand a chance. A big dog competitor. Yeah, well, I don't know. I asked him if he competed. He said no. I have no idea. E34 M5. Oh yeah, M5 is a car. Yeah, it's a nice car for sure. Oh. Oh. Bit of benching. Never hurt anybody, huh? What's up, man? How are you? I've been thinking last few days. I did a front squat yesterday and I liked it, man. I liked how it feels. And it crossed my mind, should I start playing with front squats again? Do I risk it? Last time I tried to mix bench and front squat together, I ended up getting the elbow pain, but I've never done wide bench and front squats in my mix. Maybe that will be a better mix. And I think front squats and deadlifts kind of go well together. You know, one's bent over, the other one's as upright as I can get. So it might be something to think about, you know. I'd love to test it out. So I was thinking today to do front squats again Everything feels good. Yeah, I don't know, man. Get that SSB, get the SSB down off that rack. And get the other straight bar that I have. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Move some furniture around. Yeah, it's not so much, Mike. It's not so much the wrists or whatever. It's the elbow. It's, this positioning. You're like fully stretching all of this out, copping it back. Oh, you mean like holding it like this? Like, yeah, I don't know. I never wanted to change that. I wanted to do it properly. Yesterday I did it. It felt good. So maybe I'll be alright. I'll have to decide on what to do. Yeah. Matty, I can't. Definitely can't. All right. Let's get the next set. Set number 2. Oh man, that's fucking hard. Oh, goodness me. Oh. Oh. Mike, why, man? Good to see you here again. Love my skydiving fresher comments. uh, yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us like that, Michael. You know, all the lifts are great, but you have to waste so much time, like you said. Waste is a good word because it's so technically difficult that you basically have to spend hours upon hours on technique where you could be getting fitter, stronger, musclier, you know, all that stuff. That's the real drawback for Olympic weightlifting. It's such a barrier because it's so freaking technical, man. Like when I tried it, I was like, I can't be screwed. Freaking people are saying, oh, you're going to spend at least a couple of months with the broom. The hell I'm going to spend? I don't have that time to spend 3 months with a bloody broomstick. And you know, while you're doing the broomstick, you shouldn't be really messing around with bench press and fucking deadlifts and all that, all the stuff that makes you tight. You know, so it's kind of like you have to commit to it and stay with it. And what in my 30s? What am I going to do in my 30s with it? You know, I want to get fit. I want to move. I want to train. I want to get muscle. And Olympic weightlifting is not the tool for that, I don't think. Still love it, still watching it, but atrophy with the broomstick. Exactly, that's going to happen. Freaking broomstick around. I don't have time for that shit. It's one of those sports that you better start really young, you know. When you're a teenager or even earlier, you kind of get it down packed. Like my son, 8, 9 years old, you know what I mean? He can't lift weights. Don't let him lift weights. But broomstick, absolutely. Get on it. Dario, hello. Hello, man. How are you? Welcome aboard, man. Flex my muscles, please. I'm flexing as we speak. Oh, Lord. I'll tell you a funny story. Yesterday I go to work and I see a couple of my colleagues that I haven't seen for a little while, maybe like a week or two. You know, it's a pretty big department now, you know. Rotating roster, you often go weeks sometimes without seeing somebody that works with you, you know. And yesterday I saw a couple of girls and they were like, holy shit, Ivan, you're bigger. You're bigger, you're definitely bigger. What have you been doing? Oh my God. Isn't that the best compliment you can get? At least for me it is, you know, as a skinny, scrawny kid growing up. Straight away endorphins release, you know. They're like, no, you're definitely bigger. You know, they might be saying that my gut is bigger or something. But I took it as in, oh shit, the bench press is working. You know what I mean? It's the upper body that people recognize. No one's going to recognize your glutes or your freaking hamstrings and quads. Like those don't get recognized. It's the upper body stuff, right? And so, yeah, straight away my mind's like, yeah, I've been doing a lot of upper body, I tell them. And I'm thinking, yeah, bench press, man. A shit ton of volume on bench. Obviously, I didn't tell them that. They don't give a crap about that. But in my brain, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. A lot of bench press. A lot of volume on bench. And now my body's taking shape. What do I think about upright rows? I think they are amazing. And that's a big if you can tolerate them. An empty barbell, beautiful for me. The moment I start putting weight on, click, click, click. I don't know what's clicking, but something is clicking and that shit doesn't seem good. So I've tried it a few times. I just don't like how they make my shoulders feel. Something is wrong. And so I've stopped. You're 12, started to work out. All I can now rep is 100. 100 on what? On bench? Regardless, that's pretty good, man. Don't worry about, you know, the weight. Just get reps in. Do you continue doing pull-ups? No, not currently. Not doing pull-ups at all. Have you explored pistol squats? I had a kettlebell in front of my for counterweight balance, and it lights up my quads. I have tried pistol squats, 2 separate occasions, I think. I gave them a run, and I'm just so limited in my dorsiflexion, in my mobility. I have to hold on to something, man. A counterweight is not enough for me. I literally need to hold on to something for me to do it, and so it's not good for me. I've got no idea who that is. Who that person is. No idea. All right, I need to get this 3rd set. But like always, I'm a little bit nervous before it, which tells me I'm not ready for a 4th set. Am I going for a 200 kilo bench? Holy shit. I'm going for a 160 kilo bench. That's the next step. 200 is way, way too advanced. That's kind of what I'm headed towards. And when I get 160, then I'll think 165, and so on and so on. I don't do those long-term goals. I don't think about them that often, even though I've kind of written on my bio that that's the long-term goal. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that at all. Alrighty. I'm all tired and yawny for some reason. Alright, let's get 23 here. Oh. Whew. I made it. Holy shit, these 23s are tough. Ooh-wee. Man, that shit is tough. How do I balance career? Best you can, man. No real secrets, man. You just prioritize what you want in life and you go from there. Simple as that, man. Nothing really to it. You just have to say to yourself, okay, what matters to me is training every day at some point, and you make it happen, and that's it. Does that mean you have to sacrifice other things? What are those other things? Well, you make your own decisions. Can you go to the pub twice a week while you're doing this? No. Do I want to? No. It's like anything, man. You just have to work out what your life is going to be, and you just do it. Hopefully along the way you find somebody that's supporting you. And that's it. The rest is easy. Because you're doing what you want, right? Yeah. The bear, man, for many years I had that opinion. Many. Until very, very recently, I discovered the leg drive and I've awoken the bench press. And now it feels like a full body slog, man. Even though you're on your back, it does not feel like it's a sleeping vest. And it's not boring at all. Like, legs get pumped, lower back, upper back, everything gets lit, man. So it is a real compound movement. All right, next on the menu is deadlifts. I gotta do some bloody deads, mate. So 5 sets, 10 reps, 120 on the bar. Dead stop. Dead stop. There's that beauty of a barbell. Standing up after a bloody bench press sets is always tough. But first I have to catch my breath before I start doing this. Give it a minute or so. And then we'll focus on dead stop. That is of absolute importance in this. Oh man. Peace, Mike. Appreciate it for stopping by, man. What's up, lads? Glad to hear that, man. Sorry to hear about the chronic issues. Hopefully I'll iron those out soon. But all that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Screw the PRs, man. The health is the number one important thing. Oh, man. Do I like Italian? Yeah, man. Rafael Reyes. Thank you, man. You have a good night. Oh, man. Such a freaking leg press, this stuff. Hey Hugh, how are you, man? Oh, beautiful, man. Look at that. I'm glad I could have some sort of impact on that. Jacob, man. You know, when I got my squat rack, dude, I remember the high that I had. I loved it. Trained every single day. I couldn't keep myself away from it. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. I feel like everyone should have it. Everyone. The best feeling ever. All right, another 10 sets. 10 reps rather. Man, this is tough. man, set of 10 has you freaking huffing and puffing for minutes. Oh, Michael, my pleasure. I'm enjoying it. Maybe you can't tell right now. World of hurt, but it's awesome, man. Much more productive than smashing singles all the time. Oh. Oh, man. Gljiva. Dobro jutro, dobro jutro. Anthony, like all time? When I first picked up the barbell? Is that what you mean? Or this squat every day journey? Oh, man. All time, you mean? Oh, dude, all time it was the barbell. You know, I was what was I? 19 years old when I first got taught how to squat in the gym. It was an empty barbell, you betcha, man. And it felt like shit, no depth. So it took me a few years. I mean, back then I wasn't training this seriously, no way. I was playing basketball, but it took me a few years to even get the bloody depth that you guys see today. You know, it took me a long, long time to get the depth. So I focused on that for many years. I didn't really care about the weight. And then around 25, I reckon I hit 140, 26, something like that. Something like that, yeah. 24, 25, something like that. 140, yeah. You know, at whatever, 85 kilos, 90 kilo body weight. Something like that, man. C9. Pistol squats. I've done a lot of single leg work, man. A lot of single leg work over the years. I really love it. Pistol squats, maybe not so much because of the balancing issues, but you know, split squats and whatnot that remove that huge demand that pistol squats have on you in terms of balance. I think they're great. Pistol, split squats, lunges, Bulgarians, all that stuff is good. Single leg RDLs, amazing. All that stuff is good. Suitcase carries, farmer's carries, or that's also single leg stuff, isn't it? I'm looking at switching up how I've been training to something along the lines of how you train. Yeah, do it, man. Don't let it frighten you to go down the path that your gut is telling you. You should be your number one supporter and trustee. Trust yourself, man. Go with the flow. Don't be so quick to follow somebody else's word and not yours. You know, gain the knowledge, gain the experience. Trust yourself and go from there. Why does the next guy over know more than you? Give it a crack. YouTube channel says I got my rack just before COVID in 2019. Best decision ever made compared 6 months later after from bodybuilding stuff to powerlifting. Then my wife did a natural bodybuilding show. Oh, wow. Okay. So the whole fam's all about it. That's awesome, dude. You're both all about it. That's perfect scenario. Dobro jutro, Ramas. All right, this next one's gonna be set 3. I'm bloody feeling it, I must admit. I'm really feeling it today. But who cares? Ain't nobody give a shit, man. Get that set. Why is this freaking garage so tilted? Why? Number 3 coming up. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh. Why do I work out? Jason, what's up? Why does anybody work out? No different, man. Got 2 more sets of this. Man, it's really puffing me out. And then some squats. And I reckon I'll do fronts. Fuck it. Let's see how it goes. As many as you want, man. Oh, look, lifetime goal, yes. 300 Simba, always there. That's the 25-year-old Ivan that thought that and wrote that. Heels elevated what? Oh, Daniel, man. I'd love to see the Pacers win. I'm not going to lie. But I reckon OKC is going to get it. But let's see what happens. OKC have been the better team all year. But Pacers have had a crazy run. Oh, yeah. Yep. That makes it even more quads. Yeah, I mean, that's a good, variation for sure. Definitely, man. Oh, man. As soon as that breathing stops, time to get on it again. Is there any equipment? Probably the leg press, man. I when I stopped going to the gym, I stopped doing leg press. So leg press is probably the first one that comes to mind. Hack squat probably as well. I'd have in rotation. I'd say those two definitely. Other than that, I don't think I'm missing anything else, to be honest. I would love to have a leg press here, man. I know it's a big piece of machinery and it's very expensive, but I'd love to have a leg press somewhere here. But it's big, but I'd love it. So one of those things, at home you don't have a lot of space, so you don't want to just clog up the joint with rubbish that you're not going to use. But yeah, that's what I'd love. Oh my God, my lower back is lit. Sucking in that wind, eh? Let the breathing settle. I don't want to go into it with a deficit, oxygen deficit, I'm not after cardio here. Cardio is a nice side effect, but I don't want to have that as the primary limitation. Alrighty. Let's get it. One for good measure. All right, that's one more. Probably than I should have had. Oh, man. Oh wow, Rob, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Rob. Tian Tao is like perfectly upright squatter. Oh God. Yeah, right, Rob. That's 120. 120. Oh. Yeah, I've seen that, Rob, where they elevate. But I think one of the reasons they elevate their heels so much is because the way they're built. A lot of those well, people in general, but a lot of Asian lifters, athletes, they're very short-legged, which means they're very long torsos, which means when they lean over a very, very little bit, even the slightest bit, the physics add up immensely against them on their lower back. So for them to deadlift is very difficult. For them to squat is very easy. So they're built for squatting. Which is why I feel like when you watch them lift, if they can clean the weight, it's finished. They'll stand up with it and they'll flick it up. The clean is the problem for them. That's at least what I've seen. Where a lot of the white folk, you know, a lot of the Eastern Europeans and even the Western Europeans and Europeans in general, you know, long legs, short torso type of thing. And we don't have trouble with cleaning or pulling. It's the freaking other bits, the squatting. Yeah, man, I've done a lot of overhead press. Another fella asked me earlier. A lot of it, man. I just found bench press was a superior movement. Easier to progress, easier to live with. Better hypertrophy, better muscle development. And just stuck with that. Yeah, that's right. Double down on their strengths. Without a doubt. You know, whereas for me, like, you know, the way I'm built, I find pulling so much more easier, man. So much more freaking easier. My lower back is strong. You know, I feel like that's where my comfort is. And so no matter what happens, my body's always going to kind of gravitate towards that. No matter what. And so, you know, it's one of those things. You work on your weaknesses, but you freaking sure as hell also work on your strengths. You have to. That's how you progress. That's going to be the ceiling pusher. You know? Oh. Wayne, thank you, man. Yeah, Rob, I've had many periods, many phases in my training where I've really chased quads. And I must admit, I've had some pretty good periods. In fact, when I did the hack squat religiously, like at least once a week, that's when I hit the 215 back squat. So I PR'd when I hit the quads. So there's definitely something there for sure. Absolutely. So there's definitely something there. Yeah, I don't know if you watched that period, Rob, but yeah, I was pushing it like crazy. Initially, when I tried hack squats, I was like, what the hell is this? Felt very, very vulnerable and weak in that position and in that range of motion, and it just felt terrible. But then, a few weeks later, I kind of acclimatized myself and started moving okay. And that kind of translated to the bar as well. Yeah. If I cut the intensity, just more volume. Yeah, I did, Rob. I went nuts. But that's just me in general. When I find something that I'm interested in, I just send it and then pay the price. It's like with me, man, there's always a need for like working hard, always. I've always felt like every day I want to feel wasted. It's addictive. I'm sure you know, man. You sit there on your couch and you're like, fuck yeah. It feels like, I've never done drugs, but I guess that's what they make you feel like. You're just like, oh yeah, that's the shit. The couch is just ecstasy. Aditya, it depends. If you're built for squatting, like we were saying, that you might be okay with just barbell squats and leg extensions. But if you're not a natural squatter, you might need to do other things. It's just one of those things. It's one or the other. Either you miss glutes or you miss quads. And it seems like that's the case for everyone. You fall in one camp. I've got this big old booty on me, but quads are always hard to activate. And that's just leverages probably. Oh man, my back is broken. Spinal. You remember that when Tyson said that? Shit's funny as. Oh goodness. My back is broken. What do you mean, Mike? My back is broken. What do you mean, Mike? Spinal. Oh Lord, Mike. Funny guy. Oh. At least I'm not nauseated today. That's kind of exciting. It's just another 10, man. There's nothing to it. Just another 10. 10 nice little reps. And then we can load up the bloody front squat. And then, yeah. It's all good, bro. It's all good, brother. Do I get the barbell out over there or not? Screw it. That's a thick barbell. It's going to feel shit. Front squatting with a massive bar like that. I'll just have to clean this thing up onto the thing. Onto the pins. Oh. Yeah. Spot on, James. James, no, you know what's up. Oh, good old Mike. I better move this mic down now. Make space for the front rack. Front squat, baby. Well, first let me catch my breath. That'll be bloody handy to have some air. Oh man, that back is finished. Now, I cannot clean this without snapping my spine. All right. This is 110 now. Oh man, my back is killing. Whew. Can't keep my back straight anymore. I'm 130 now. Yeah, I've tried sumo in the past myself, and it doesn't feel good. Yeah, the natural squatters will often say leg press feels awkward and dismiss it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really know what the missing link is. You know, it's not very clear. I don't know. It is confusing. Yeah, leg press feels like a press. If you think about it, a leg press is really a push without a pull. There's no pulling at all. So if you find the leg press comfortable and squatting not, maybe the pulling portion of the squat is limiting you. Something about that, you know. There are muscles in our body that are biarticulate. You know, some of the hamstrings, some of the quads. And so the balance between that can get a little bit tricky, but if you can leg press a ton, I'd say your quads are pretty good, man. It's the other stuff that's lagging. And what that is, maybe it's the glutes, maybe it's the hamstrings, I don't really know, adductors. It is confusing. Oh fuck, that's it. Low back unsupported anymore, it's finished. Not loading any more up, I'm asking for trouble here. Maybe next time start with the front squat. Yeah, maybe that's why you hinge, man. Because I don't know. I've had these thoughts in the past. Maybe you hinge because the hinging muscles are letting go before the pushing muscles. I don't know. I really don't know, man. I'm going to leave you guys here. This is it, man. Almost 2 hours on the stream. 2 hours of training. Appreciate all of you guys that were with me with the whole journey. I don't know if many have been there from the start, but appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, I guess, for another one. More benching, more squatting, no deadlifting tomorrow. I'm gonna give it a rest tomorrow. My back is absolutely fried. So I think a well-deserved rest is on the menu. Appreciate you guys. I don't know if anyone's here. Appreciate you, Rob. Catch you in the next one, eh? See you guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.